So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global Nimble community. I'm super excited during this beautiful fall time to share with you a little bit of updates of what our team has been busy doing over in Ukraine. I'm not sure if I mention it often enough, but our development team based in Ukraine has been doing incredible work through incredible time. And my heart goes out to them and their families, and I appreciate their continued contribution to our team's success. Today, we've got Jenna, who is our product marketing lead and also our partner representative. Jenna, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. I see some familiar names in the chat box, so if you know me already, how are you? If you don't know me, I'm Jenna. I'm a marketing professional at Nimble. I do a little bit of social media, product marketing, and I'm also part of the partner program as well. And I'll also be walking you through a couple of things today, such as our new web forms and some other product updates, and I'm super excited to dive in.
And for those that don't know me, my name is John Ferrara. I've been building relationship management systems since the beginning of time. And I've got Rich Bone, the godfather of CRM analysts, to prove it. I wish I could bring you on board, Rich, and say hello to the people. But I really got started building relationship management because I struggled. I struggled to manage my contacts. I was part of a larger team, and back then there was no contact management, CRM, SFA, market automation, nothing. I rolled with the day timer, and it wasn't good enough, not only for myself but also for my team. And so I quit my job and pioneered Outlook and Salesforce before they existed with Goldmine. I got back in the business because as I used social media, I saw how it was going to change the way that we work, play, buy, and sell. And I looked for a relationship manager that was social, couldn't find it. And I looked at CRMs and contact platforms as they were and thought they lacked the heart that Goldmine really founded. And we built Nimble. So today we're going to talk about some strategies to really kickstart your company. We're going to talk about some of our new features, including our new web forms. I'm thinking about renaming web forms to just Nimble forms because web forms aren't only useful in web, they're useful in email outreach or social shares, etc. And we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the other key feature updates that we've done over the past year and give you a little glimpse into the future. So here's a little glimpse into some of the new things. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly talk through the slides of the features and then give you an overview of some Nimble vision. And then Jenna will go ahead and talk a little bit more about and walk you through these new features. We built web forms because we really believe that as you engage your constituency, whether it's on the web or whether it's in email outreaches or whether it's in social posts, you really want them to engage with you. You want them to respond, to give you information, and you want to collect that information and get it into your CRM easily, but more importantly, then follow up, because the person that responds the soonest to people that are hotly inquiring with you are the ones that are going to get the business. And 35 years ago, I wrote a Perl script, which was the first program that grabbed web forms and put it into a CRM with Goldmine. And I'm just proud of the team building such a beautiful UI to capture web leads. And we'll talk more about that when Jenna demos it. Looks like we don't have the rest of the slides there, so I will just go ahead and go through the demo here. So I think the heart of what Nimble is really all about is the fact that there's 225 million global businesses. Less than 1% use any CRM. Most people's CRM is spreadsheets, their email inbox, or pieces of paper. And the reason why is that CRMs aren't really built for the whole company, for relationships. They're built for pounding people to buy or die. And they're built for salespeople. And I believe that CRMs are great for salespeople, but I really believe that CRMs are better for relationship managers for the whole company, because it's not just salespeople that are in your company. Less than 5% of most companies are salespeople. The rest of the people are busy touching the constituency around your business to grow your business and achieve your goals. And so in most businesses today, you have some email productivity suite, Microsoft or Google or Apple or a combination. You use social to build your brand and grow your network, and you have business apps. You have at least one business app in your company. You might have QuickBooks or MailChimp or some other tool for doing business functions. And the beauty about Nimble is that it will go in and unify all of those contacts into a cohesive whole, enrich them with people and company data, and then unify them to enable your team to engage, and then let you engage with them everywhere you work. What I call it is we're the CRM for more than just salespeople. We're a relationship-focused CRM for your whole company. And the key things that make us unique is that we're relationship-focused. And what I mean by that is that we're not just after a dollar outcome. We enable you to do other types of outcomes. And that's why we're great for biz dev, et cetera. We automatically unify your contacts from the disparate places that they are. We'll enrich them with people and company data, and then we'll synchronize every interaction that you and the team have with them. And then we work everywhere you work, because let's face it, you don't live inside of your CRM. The biggest cause of failure of CRM is lack of use, and the second is bad data. Lack of use because you need to go to it to use it. Bad data because you have to Google people before a meeting and then go log that in the CRM, and people just don't do that. We're human. We don't do that. And so what we need is a CRM that will work for us by automatically building beautiful records like you see here, synchronizing in the interactions you and the team have, and then go back and work where you work, whether it's in Microsoft or Google. You plug Nimble into Microsoft 365, it'll automatically go into Outlook Desktop and Outlook Mobile. It'll automatically bring up records when you're engaging and let you do the important thing that you need to do, which is the follow-up and follow through things that you need to do to succeed. And then we have outcomes other than deals, because most CRMs are all about the dollar outcomes, the deals. And while deals are great, you shouldn't put an unqualified lead in your deal pipeline. You should have a qualification workflow or process. But more importantly, any type of outreach that you do, you definitely want to have a process for that. And this is the way I used to outreach for press, because it was easy and it functioned, but it was difficult and it didn't update because I had to manually put in all this information. But you know what? Your CRM should automatically update the last contact date and the last meeting and all that stuff. And so what I wanted was an ability to build a list for outreach and put them through stages like a process or project board, but have all that integrated into my CRM so that I had a simple way to manage people and company repeatable business processes in order to achieve goals. And that's why I say that Nimble is the CRM that has outcomes other than deals. We enable you to build workflows that enable you to track the repeatable business, people and company related business processes to achieve your goals. And so we built this thing called workflows that allows you to go ahead and define the stages that you want to achieve a goal, and then to be able to connect the fields necessary to do those things, and to be able to then use that anywhere you're working, including the ability to do that inside of, let's say, a recruiting app. So we were recruiting for marketing associates. We Nimble Smart inside the Indeed page. It will automatically build a record. Of course, I'm not logged in, and I'm not going to log in while I'm on screen, but it would automatically build the record and connect it right there. And I could put it into the workflow. And then once it's in the workflow, we can go ahead and do the processes that we need. I love the fact that you can do that within everywhere that you're working, being able to add contacts literally anywhere that you are, and put them into workflows, because you shouldn't go outreaching in LinkedIn if you don't have a next step, a process you want to put people through. And Nimble gives you that process and more. And so with that, what I'd like to do is go ahead and turn it over to you, Jenna, to talk about some of our other new features, including our new email reminders, etc. And go ahead and take the screen and walk us through in depth some of these new key features.
So first, I'd like to go over introducing our new Nimble web forms. And before I get into what the web forms look like and what you're going to do with it, I just want to give an idea of what web forms is. So really, web forms isn't only about just putting a web form on your website and forgetting about it, not engaging with your contacts. It's really about using web forms everywhere that you engage with your prospects. So you can use it on your website, social posts, or even embed it in your email. It really works wherever you work. And the idea is that you have this type of form or maybe an offer to capture information so you can essentially follow up and follow through with those contacts. And it's also to build forms to like host, embed, and of course collect contact information. So of course you want to collect new information into your contact database into Nimble, or maybe just even adding more contact information to your existing contacts. That's what web forms is really all about. And it's also really about just taking the next step. So you have your web forms, and what next? You have these contacts who are interested in you, they're inquiring about what you do, but the really important part is engaging and following up and following through with those web forms. And something that I'm also going to get through a little bit in this webinar is some upcoming stuff about web forms. So of course, you have these web forms, people are inquiring to learn more about you, connect with you, and that's why we're going to also add automations to these web forms. So of course, you have these web forms, people are filling them out, what to do next with them. You might want to tag them or add them to a workflow, or even send a thank you message, or maybe it's for a newsletter and you want to send a follow-up message and maybe send off that first sequence of emails to engage and connect with them. So really the important thing about web forms is capturing those leads and engaging with them. Because they are hot leads, you're going to want to do something with them. Of course, that is the most important part. So I'm going to get into what web forms look like. And I'll switch my screen here. And I'll walk you through just a little bit about what web forms will look like on Nimble. So first, if you want to find it on Nimble, it'll be on the bottom left corner on web forms. And then you can start adding your web form here. So web forms come in all different shapes and sizes. So maybe you want to have a newsletter sign up, a registration form. I know some of you are in customer service, so maybe you want to do a support form. Or if you just want to start from scratch, we do have blank templates. So first, I'll just click on this so you get an idea of what it looks like. And the important part about this is building a web form that helps you create those contacts with those really important fields. So maybe email, first name, last name, industry, pretty much anything that has to do with your process. So if there's any fields that you need to in order to effectively capture that information, this is where you can do it. So first, I'll continue to build the web form here. You can add your own web forms as well. So maybe you want to add another field here. You can add a field. I'll just click the yes button. And you'll have this sidebar here. And this is pretty much all the backend stuff where you're going to make your settings, what it will look like. And of course, what is a web form without branding it? So you can add your own logo here. And then we also do have style forms. So maybe you want to have your own branding color or font, just to make it more comprehensible and cohesive with your brand. You can definitely customize it here. So we have a couple of options. And the most important part is the settings for contact creation. So of course, having the UI and branding of the web form is important, but the most important part is getting those leads into your web forms and having that information at hand. So what you're going to want to do is go to the Create Contacts tab here, and these are the fields that we created in this web form. So I have email, first name, and last name. And this here is just for you to know that these contacts will be filled with this new information when they do sign that form. So say you have your web form, you have the branding, you have your logo, and now you have your fields here. They're all set up in Nimble so that email is matched to email, first name is matched to first name, and last name is matched to last name. And I'll go back to web forms here. So say you have your web form ready to go. Maybe you want to put it on your website or social posts or even embed it in an email. And I'll go back to this list and I'll show you what that reporting looks like. So say that your web form is a success, hopefully. You'll be able to get a bird's eye view of how your performance is. So if you like to look at the numbers, you can have submissions here, see the performance of your web forms. And of course, the most important part is the contacts. So I'm going to click into here. And you'll be able to see here a submission. So I could see here my team member, Gabrielle, posted this submission here, and I see all of her information. So I see the information that I wanted to capture, such as email, first name, and last name. Now, since Gabby is an existing contact in my database, it matches the contact with the contact record. So I can easily pull this up and get a little bit more information about the contact record. So maybe Gabby was originally in my database, but I didn't have things like email or maybe last name, for example. It was just kind of a contact that was floating in my database. Now it's important. Now I understand what I need to do with this contact. Or additionally, if you have a contact that's brand new to Nimble, they went into your web form, they signed it, and now they are in here, it'll automatically have a new contact in here. So you can create a new contact and it will add all the information that you had in those fields in Nimble. So essentially, web forms is a place to capture leads, generate leads, and then move them to another process. And the important thing is, now that you have web forms, what are you going to do next? Because nothing is worse than having your hot leads who are interested in you and you're just not following up with them and they slip through the cracks.
Jenna, can I interject here? Can you go back to the creation of the web form right when you get to the end? Because I think that one of the things that really scares a lot of people in, just pick any template and go ahead and jump all the way to the end.
Yes.
Okay, right here. So I think one of the things that scares a lot of people is getting a web form embedded in their website. And I want to emphasize that web forms aren't just for websites, but they're for email outreaches. You can have a link that will open up the web form. You could use it in social outreaches. You could have a link that opens up the web forms. So there's two ways to embed the web form in your website. If you scroll down, there is, where is the URL? Oh, publish. Go ahead and publish. Okay. So there's two ways to do it. One way is you could use our embed code that you could embed it in your website if you are technical, or you can grab the link. So copy the link right there, over there, the copy, yeah, and open up a new tab. And let's pretend that you shared that link as a link on your website or in an email outreach or in a social share. When they click it, they'll see the form like this. You don't have to do any website creation or embedding or anything. And then when they fill that form out, then you'll have that lead inside of your web form. That's all I wanted to share, how easy it was to share that and how web forms aren't just for websites, they're for social shares as well as email outreach. Jenna, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, so of course web forms is important, but what do you want to do after you have those leads? And of course it's important to organize them, move them through the process, and engage with them effectively. And one of our newer product launches is workflow automations and workflows. So if you're new to Nimble, you might not be familiar with workflows, but workflows is a place where you move contacts from stage to stage in order to engage with those contacts. And we do have templates, so if you're in a specific industry or you have a specific workflow in mind, maybe human resources or job search or anything like that, you can use these as inspiration, or of course you can always start from scratch and create your own columns here. But essentially, workflows is a place where it holds you accountable to move those contacts into each stage and effectively engage with them. So for example, maybe that web form I had before was a sales inquiry. And maybe I want to move them into a workflow to start engaging with them. These people are interested in me, and now it's my turn to be interested back. So what you'll do is you'll add these contacts to a workflow and you'll start engaging with them. And essentially what you can do is you'll be able to see the contacts in each stage. So for example, here I see I have 37 new contacts in my new leads. It's probably time for me to move them over to reviewed or maybe attempting contact at some point. And what you can do with workflows is you can move these cards, these contact cards, from stage to stage. And this just kind of tells you what part of the stage they're in your process. And what you can do, not only just move them from stage to stage to see what process and stage they're actually in, but also have automations. And automations is a place where Nimble pretty much does the work for you. So if you're in a process where you need to follow up with people, engage with them, but of course we all forget, we're all super busy people, and now it's fall and we want to crunch down on our lead generation, it is time to finally engage with those people, but we often forget. So with automations, it basically enables you to follow up with people, create engaging touching points with them, when you don't have to really remind yourself, because maybe you do need to remind yourself to follow up with people, but you don't have time to remind yourself to follow up. The sticky notes, the calendar invites, they can all get jumbled up, and it's important to streamline those processes. So what you can do is you can create automations. So that means when I move a contact from one stage to the next, I can trigger something to happen. So maybe I want to follow up, for example. So maybe I want to move Frank to attempting contact, and maybe I want to send him a LinkedIn message, maybe I just want to follow up with him, or maybe I want to send him an email. Automations does that for you, and I'll quickly show you what that looks like. So if you go to the Automations tab here on your workflow, and then I'll just choose the stages so you can just see what it looks like. So maybe I want to do reviewed leads to attempting contact, and I finally want to reach out to that person who did submit my web form. It's time for me to reach back out. So there's a couple things you can do, and especially with web forms, it's super important to create a personal touch to these outreaches. So maybe you want to send an email or create an activity. And create an activity is really good if you want to create a task reminder to follow up with someone. So maybe you did connect with them and maybe you just want to reach back out and make that personalized touch. So for example, I have my task here. I might do follow up. And this essentially means that when I do move a contact from one stage to the next, it'll remind me to follow up with that person, which is super convenient. And you can also see it in a couple places on Nimble too, so the Today page, or maybe your mobile app if you like to have your notifications at hand. Or maybe you want to assign this to another team member. If you work in a team environment and you want to streamline your team members' activities, you can absolutely do that here too. And something also that's really important is emails. Of course, you want to send emails out all day, every day, but of course, it's super difficult to create these personalized emails, you know, having the first name, last name, maybe even having a sentence or two that's a little bit more personal to them, maybe where they live, what the weather's like, what they're catching up on. Sending templated emails is a really great place to do that. So if you always know there's a point in your streamlined process that you want to send them an email, you can use email automations. So that means when I do move a contact from one stage to the next, I can send off an email, super personalized, and you can actually personalize it by merge tags. And merge tags is anything that's readable on the contact record. So maybe things like first name, last name, company, title, anything that you have on the contact record can be made personalized. So maybe I have contact name here and I want to reach out to them and make it more warm. And also something really great about Nimble too is it does track opens and clicks. So if you like to spy on those people in your lead gen and you want to see if someone did open your messages or click them, you can definitely get those as well, because maybe all of your leads are opening your messages and they're not answering. Maybe that's a way to effectively do your follow-ups a little different. So it's a great way to kind of have that email marketing portion of your email reminders as well. And to go back to workflows here, just so you get the bigger picture, you're moving these contacts through stage to stage after you put them through your web forms. You have these lead gens, they're super interested in you, but now it's time to actually make those touch points. So you move these contacts from stage to stage, and maybe you need a little help from your automations to remind you when to follow up, when to send an email, and you can take them through the process and say that they do go through the process. You go to the last column here. Maybe the last column is qualified, for example. They're interested, they wanted to do a sales opportunity with you. Maybe that is where you want to put them into a deal opportunity. And that leads me to our deal workflows, or deal dashboards. This is one of our new product updates that's super exciting. And you can think of a deals dashboard as like a workflow, but it does have a sales opportunity attached to it.
Jenna, can I interject here? I just wanted to make sure that we let people know that there are templates in workflows that enables them to add pre-built templates for common tasks, both across a company and also across verticals. So if you could just quickly show them that the templates that we built for workflows, the templates, a few more templates on the web forms, because some people thought that they could only add 3 forms on the 3 fields to the web forms, and make sure you cover templates on deals as well. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so super similar to workflows, deals also has templates, and you can go to add deal pipeline here, and you'll be able to see these templates. We range from consulting to insurance. And again, you can always take inspiration from this too. So maybe there's some stages in here you want to add and delete, you can do that. And of course, you can always start from scratch too. So we do offer templates as well. And you can have multiple pipelines at once. I know that's a common question that I get. You can have multiple pipelines with multiple processes as well. And again, so say you have contacts, they move through the workflow, they're interested in you, and now you finally have a sales opportunity at hand, and now you need to move through that process. This is where deals dashboards come in. And deals dashboards is a place where, again, you can move these sales opportunities from stage to stage with the columns that you have set up. And what you can do, and I'll just quickly show the detailed view here. This is where all that really great information is going to be. So the deal necessarily itself doesn't have to be the actual contact. You can have related contacts to it. So I have my banana sales here, and I have my related contacts. So this might be that point of contact, or maybe some team members that are associated with the deal. You can have them here. And this will act as kind of like your contact card. You can pull up the contact record here. And then you'll also be able to see all of the emails and activities associated with these deal activities as well. So if you ever wanted to see when the last time you did reach out to that person for the sales opportunity, you can just head to the messages tab and see the last email here. Or maybe you set those follow-up reminders or tasks or anything like that. You'll be able to see that in the activities tab as well. So you can kind of see everything in a bird's eye view in the deal itself. And I'll go back to the deals dashboard here. So again, you'll be able to move these contacts from stage to stage based on what process they're in. So maybe you have, for example, qualification, and if I scroll down, it'll go to negotiation. So maybe you do have that sales opportunity. It works out, they go to negotiation, and it is actually one. I would consider this sales opportunity one. I can go ahead and drag it to deal one. And the reason why I would suggest moving it to deal one or deal lost when it is successful or unsuccessful is because you can report on it. And you'll be able to view reports on here, and I'm just going to go to another account so you'll be able to see these awesome reports. And you can create as many dashboard reports as you'd like with different types of filters. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So you can see all the data here associated with my won and lost deals, and then also deals that are in progress. So maybe you want to have a specific dashboard for one type of report for all of your pipelines, or maybe you want to have different reports for different pipelines. You can get really creative with the reports here. And also the great thing about this too is that if you're kind of maybe concerned or worried about any of the data points, or maybe you just want a little more information and background on these data points here, you can actually click into it. And you can see all the deals that are associated with each data point. So maybe I see here, I have a spike in my qualification column and my deal conversions. I'm saying, what is that? Where did that come from? I can click into each of these and get a little bit more information on them. So if I click this here, it gives me the detailed view of the deal opportunity itself. So I could see it was lost on April 17th. I could see why it was lost, the reason behind it, and then also the sales opportunity itself. So if you really like to hone in on your sales opportunities, get a little bit more information on what you can do better with you and your sales team as well, you can absolutely do that here. And the nice thing about reports is that you can actually do some team engagement on here too. So if you're working with a team and you want to see the activities planned or completed, you just want to get an idea of what your team members are up to, you can absolutely do that here as well. So that's great to work with teams. So if you ever wanted to see what your team members are up to, you can kind of snoop on them here and get an idea of what is being created, planned, maybe not complete as well. And that's kind of what I wanted to go over for the workflows and deals reports. But something that I also wanted to go over was our new email reminders. So say that you have your web forms, your lead generations are coming in, you're putting them through the workflows, you're engaging with them, things are going really great. They're interested in a sales opportunity. You put them in a sales opportunity, but say most of your communication is through email. And if you're like me, sometimes you get a billion emails a day. People are sending you messages and you forget to email them back, or maybe you're waiting for an email to be responded and you haven't heard anything yet and you kind of forget about it. So that's where emails reminders come in. So I'll show you what that looks like, and you can get this anywhere on the Nimble dashboard here, but I'll show you through the messages tab here. So first, I'm going into the messages tab. I go to the watched emails, and this is where I create my email reminder. So essentially, if you want to send an email to someone, get a response by a specific time, and be reminded about it, that's where watched emails comes in. So say, for example, I send my colleague Gabby an email, for example, and I really need a response from her in 10 days, a week, something like that. Or again, maybe it's a prospect, a client, something that you really need to get that response from, and you just don't have the bandwidth to remind yourself. So what you can do is you'll go to the Watched Emails tab here. And again, you can do this on the contact record as well, or even in your workflow automations. You can do this a couple ways. I'll show you in this tab here. So I'm going to craft my email, and I'll just pull up a template here and say this is the email that I want to send. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to set this reminder. So say I have an email here and I really need a response by X date and I just don't have the time to remind myself or scroll through my inbox and remind myself to remind myself. So I'm going to do next Thursday here, and maybe I'll do 3:30 p.m. And then I'm going to set my reminder. And I'm just going to put a 2 in here just so you guys can get a better idea of what this would look like. So I'm sending this email out to Gabrielle and I want a reminder on October 12th at 3:30 p.m. So that means this email will be watched, and if Gabby does not answer my email in that time period, it will go to the overdue tab and I will get notifications that Gabby has not responded to me. And what you can do is you can go to this folder here, and it kind of gives you a comprehensive view on each tab of the status of those watched emails. So for example, these are all my overdue emails. These are all the emails that I've sent with a reminder on it and they haven't emailed me back in that time. It will notify me that that person has not responded, and maybe it's time for me to follow up with them, maybe create more engaging email, maybe, message them on socials or something. And you can also see the awaiting response and the responded tab here. So in that time period that I'm waiting for that response, it will be in here. And if they do respond in that time period, it will show up in the responded tab, and you will get notified if someone does respond as well. So if someone responds to that email in that time period, it will go to the responded tab, send you a notification, and then you can effectively follow up with them. And that kind of encompasses all of our new product updates. So just to put it in the big picture, web forms is a great place to do your lead generation. And again, that can be anywhere from your website, a social post, or even embed it in one of your emails as well. And then of course, workflow automations is all about engaging your contacts, getting those hot leads, streamlining your processes, following up with them, engaging with them when you need to. And then of course, your deal reports and dashboards. So putting those leads and those contacts and prospects in your deals dashboards, following up with those sales opportunities and being able to understand where your deals are falling through the cracks and what is working well for you and your team. And then lastly, messages and watched emails, because our inboxes can get overflowed. We forget to follow up with people when we need to. This is a great place to check up on the status of your emails. So really, our new product launches are all about engaging with those clients and those contacts and being able to form a personal relationship with them, because there's nothing worse than having all these leads who are interested in you and letting them fall through the cracks. And that leaves me with our new product launches. So I'm going to switch my screen here. And some of our new features that are coming up on our Nimble roadmap are web form automations. So of course, web forms is super important, but we really do want to make Nimble work for you by having automatic contact creation. So when a lead comes into those web forms, it automatically creates a contact for you. And then also putting them into a workflow. So maybe it's that sales lead workflow that I showed, or maybe automatically tagging them. Maybe, for example, it's like a registration inquiry. You might want to tag them registration inquiry, or maybe you want to send them an automated email. So say, for example, you have a newsletter sign up and you want to send them a welcome email or a welcome newsletter. It can do that for you as well. And then that also leads me into sequenced emails. So Nimble is really honing on their email marketing as well. So I really want to hone in on those sequenced emails and being able to send delayed emails as well. So maybe you want to send an email out on Monday or Tuesday, and you want to craft it now just so you can get it over with and remember it before you forget it. Or maybe you want to do a sequenced email. So maybe you have a lead who's interested, you want to send them a few messages, maybe they don't answer, you want to send a follow-up, that will also be part of our sequenced emails as well. So Nimble is really focused on engaging those contacts in your database and then also knowing when and how to follow up with them effectively. And I did want to leave a couple minutes at the end of our webinar to ask questions. So
Jenna, before we get to the Q&A, I just wanted to do a broader update on the recent new features. If you could give me the screen. Thank you. And Jenna, might I say that was amazing. Thank you so much for walking us through some of the new key features, including our new web forms. I do want to emphasize that the new web forms are, you could build as many fields as you want in them. We have a lot of templates for you. This is a blank template. This is a contact us. You can get as sophisticated as you want. We have bug tracking, client details, client review, client feedback, product inquiries, etc. But any field in Nimble is can be inserted into a form, and they could get as big as you'd really like. So that is an answer to one of the questions that was there. In addition to the web forms, we also have as Jenna shared, the email reminders. And those are really great because how many times have you sent an email and you said, and you forgot that it's somebody that's important and you expect a response soon, but then you go out throughout your day in the next couple of days, you forget about it and it just falls through the crack. Well, now you could say, hey, remind me if I don't hear back from them after a few days. And then if they don't hear back from you, you could then send a follow-up email that will say, hey, I just want to make sure that you didn't miss this in your inbox. I know how busy we all are, but this is really important because X, Y, and Z. And because we are building automated sequences into Nimble, soon you will be able to do just what I just said, but rather than reminding yourself to do it, you could let Nimble do it for you. So you could send an email day 1. If you don't get a response after a few days, send email 2, etc. And one of the whole reasons why you want to get people to give you their email is you want to put them on some sort of drip list, etc. So like if you have a forum on your website where you want to send people updates periodically, you could put them on a list, and in Nimble soon, you're going to be able to send mass email lists greater than the limits that Google and Microsoft limit you to, so that you could use it for your monthly newsletter, etc. And I'm really excited about adding more market automation features. If you think about Nimble's email outreach features, they're really more SFA features for the individual rep to do one to a few, one to one, and one to many, up to the limits of whatever Google and Microsoft will let you send, because we send the emails through Google and Microsoft's email productivity suites. And generally speaking, those limits are anywhere from a few hundred to maybe up to 1,000. And somebody asked as a question, what's the email delivery rate of Nimble sending the email versus you sending the email via Google or Microsoft? And my answer is the same, because the email comes from Google and Microsoft. We don't do anything other than send the email for you. This expected days feature, you definitely want to take a look at that, because you could set the expected days in a workflow. If something is stuck, you can be reminded to move it forward through the workflow. Nimble's list of workflows and new list view of workflows and deals makes it easy to be able to see the successful and unsuccessful deals in your workflows. Definitely recommend reading through that blog. And by the way, all of this is available on our Nimble blog. And if you just go in here to product updates, you'll see that one of the cool new features that we will be adding to Nimble is a update list within the application. So look for that shortly. And then we have an update to the new deals. And Jenna went through that briefly. Our new deals is really powerful, specifically because you have this new UI, which is great, but specifically you could use tags and custom fields in the deals. And we have now moved all those features into mobile. So take a look at that as well. And there's a whole new onboarding system in Nimble that I recommend that you take a look at. It'll help your team onboard to all of our new features. as well as their sample data that you could use to get an idea of what a completed Nimble system will look like. We've updated the tags feature. So tags is like one of the easiest and simplest ways to manage contacts, because if you put contacts in Nimble, you want to be able to segment them, and you can't segment them without some unique identifier. And some people can use fields as a unique identifier. Other people use tags, and with our new tags manager, the tags are much easier to manage, etc. And soon we'll be making it so that they're even easier. We're continuing to update that tags area because I think it's a way that we all use to manage those tags. We've got daily two-way sync for Microsoft 365 contacts. We'll soon be adding that for Google contacts as well. But if you are using the new reports, we've added a report widgets, and those are on the Today page. So a lot of our new reports that are in the reports dashboard, you could add them to your Today page. And don't forget that you could create multiple dashboards, a dashboard for your own deals, a dashboard for the reps you're managing, a dashboard for regions that you want to manage, a dashboard for different types of pipelines of deals that you're doing, etc. Also, we've updated the workflow, so you now have a Kanban view of your workflow of your workflow deals. So if you go into workflows, there is the ability to manage these in both the list view as well as in the board view. So this is a list view and this is a board view. Now on mobile, you can have both views, and in deals, we'll soon be adding a board view as well. We've added vertical industry templates for deals, and that's because what I find is that a lot of vertical CRMs aren't as robust as the horizontal CRMs, which Nimble has traditionally been a more horizontal CRM, which means it's applicable to any type of vertical or use case role within a company. But now what we're doing is we're taking the way that our customers are formatting and customizing Nimble for the particular vertical, like financial services, insurance, legal, mortgage broker, nonprofit, real estate, recruiting, etc. And we're building templates for Nimble in deals. Soon we'll build those templates in the contact records as well. We've also updated the mobile so it contains the new features of deals, including the detail change logs. We've added deals to Microsoft Outlook add-in. That's the add-in that you see when you open up an email. And we've also added the new deal dashboards that I shared before. Workflow automations, look for automations soon in web forms, as Jenna discussed, also in deals and contacts as well. I think that's about it for the new key features. Like I shared, I'm really super proud of the work that our dev team in Ukraine has been doing. And with that, let's go to some Q&A. And what I'm going to do is just open up the Q&A section on a different page so that I can go ahead, because I only have one screen here in this office. There it is. So now is a good time to ask your questions. We love questions. It's how we all learn and grow. Question from Bobby: will web forms have email automations as well? And the answer is yes. So when you go and you fill out a form, right now you do the work. So if you go and fill out a web form, if a customer fills out a web form, it will show up as a response in here. And at that point, you could then go ahead and map that contact to a new record and then do whatever you want with the contact. Soon we'll make it so that if somebody fills out a web form, you could say if this then that, just like you have in workflow. So if they fill out a form, you will then be able to add automations probably the first things that we'll do is give you the ability to tag it, give you the ability to notify the responsible rep for managing those forums, and give you the ability to send a message. And we'll continue to expand those as we go. Do you plan to add SMS capabilities to Nimble? Yes, I absolutely believe that email is a slaughterhouse, and that it's almost impossible to get a hold of people in email, and SMS is a great way to do that. I would love to see us having the capability with our web forms to not only capture an email, but also capture an SMS, and to send a follow-up to confirm that SMS, and have them subscribe to SMS updates. Can you share more details of how to add a web form to your website? Glenn asked. Well, I'm not going to go into the full details of it, but I'll just repeat what we shared before. So if you go to and you go and you build a new web form, and you go ahead and you publish it, publish here, then you get two key options, really three. This one is a script that you can add to your website, and these are two scripts of code. They're JavaScript that you would add to your website if you're technical, or you have somebody technical. And this is an example of how to exactly do that. So this is an FAQ that will teach you to do that. If you're not technical, it's as simple as copying the link and then putting it as an embedded link in your website. So essentially, you'd edit the text on your website and you'd embed that as a link in the text. So when they click the text, then they'll get to the forum. You could also use that to embed in a social share or in an email link. And the next question is, how do you establish best practices for smaller companies? Donald, that is a large question. And I think that might be better suited to getting more detail from you of what exactly you mean. But I encourage all of you to attend our weekly webinars that we do. We do webinars every week where you can go and do Q&A and onboard into Nimble, and it's under resources and webinars. And you can also schedule one-on-ones with our team. So I encourage you to look into that. How do you get notified about unsubscribing clients from their emails? Is there an automation process that automatically changes their status after they unsubscribe? Marco, you don't need an automation process for that. If you go and you build an email template, you can put the unsubscribe in the email template, and then when you so the unsubscribe link, you just add it right there, and then when they click that, they're automatically unsubscribed. So when you add recipients to an outreach, they won't be added to it. Can we work on getting a clone option when adding multiple contacts from a company, so you don't have to key in data like addresses, phone twice? Michael, I'd like to learn a little bit more exactly what you want. My email is john@nimble.com. Please reach out to me with more details on that. And the same for the person that asked about common business practices for small businesses. Feel free to reach out to me and ask me those specific questions. When Jennifer asks, Stephen asks, when I manually add social URLs for contacts, I sometimes get error messages. Is there a reason for that? It's probably because it's an invalid URL, but email care@nimble.com with those specifics. They should be able to answer that with more clarity. When I use messages, it tends to make formatting weird every time I make any edits to the message. I assume that you're meaning by that, Jennifer, that you mean emails like this right here. Like if I go and I add some text into this email here, that when you go and edit it after the fact, that you might see some odd formatting. That is a common thing that happens with these HTML forms, because what they're doing is they're presenting you with not the HTML, but an interpreted version that should look like what people look like. And if you are having an issue with messages and formatting, email care@nimble.com and let's get that so that we could see if that is a replicatable issue, and we will correct it. In a prior webinar, you mentioned there is a need to incorporate Grammarly or some similar product to correct typos or lack of literacy. Any updates, Donald? I don't have an update on that. We'll ask the team and get back to you. Team, let's make sure that we get Donald a response. Tony says, how do you prevent web contact form spam from ending up in your CRM? I asked our development team, and they said that we're going to look into inserting a CAPTCHA in there. So, for instance, if you were to go to nimble.com and try to subscribe and put in an email, Jack at jack.com, then I think what it will do is it will send you a CAPTCHA to verify that you are human. And that, I think, is what you're asking for. So please let us know if that's what you're asking for, and we will verify that that's what you're asking for, etc. But I do think that there are a lot of bots out there that do interrupt, that basically fill out forms automatically to just mess with you, and I think that's what you're asking for. In a prior webinar, can monthly reports be generated that track email performance, i.e. number sent, number open, CTR, unsubscribed, etc.? Don, thanks for that question. I'd like to learn more about exactly what you're looking for. If you have a format or an idea, send it to us, care@nimble.com, copy me, john@nimble.com. I'd love to learn more. Is it possible to have multiple deals in the same pipeline with the same lead? Yes. So you can have as many contacts you can have a contact in as many workflows or deals as you want. Can you guys still hear me? Jenna,
Yep.
Can you verify? Okay,
Yep.
Just want to make sure because my screen was acting a little funny. I have a number of revenue streams. Is it possible to set up distinct databases? Is the only way to separate A contacts from B contacts is through tagging? Currently, Graham, we don't have multiple databases in Nimble. It's been something that I've kind of wanted and considered for a while, but it would be relatively complex for us to consider, and we prioritize some of the things for that. So currently, it is only via tags that you could do that. Sandy asks, I need to interface with BuddyBoss, which will be our membership website. We're currently using Higher Logic, but want to make the switch. So Sandy, I really would like to learn more about that. And let me just emphasize that Nimble is really working towards being a platform that will help and address vertical needs. And I think what you're talking about is member management. And so I'd like to learn a little bit more about your needs in member management and why you're switching from Higher Logic and considering BuddyBoss and how you might use Nimble in conjunction with that. My email is john@nimble.com. I would love to hear from you. And with that, let's, I think that we answered all the questions. Jenna and Gabby, did we?
Yes.
So, so in closing, for those of you that are on trial, that aren't using Nimble, if what you're seeing is something that you might want to consider subscribing for, you can get 40% off your first 3 months by using the code John40. And so I encourage you to go ahead and do that. And we will be having webinars coming up on managing contacts and cleaning them up. And with that, I'd like to let everybody know that we will be sending out a email link to this recorded webinar. I want to thank all of you for attending. I want to thank Jenna and Gabby and the rest of the Nimble marketing team for making this happen. Please reach out to us and let us know how we can help you grow and learn. And Jenna, do you have any parting words or thoughts for the audience?
Yeah, well, thanks so much for joining. I hope you got a little bit more information out of our product launches, and be sure to check out our new product launches upcoming soon as well. And of course, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and of course, feel free to schedule a demo with me as well for some additional onboarding.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and for attending. And Paul, thanks for the kind words to say you're old enough to remember Goldmine, and how come I've aged so much better than you have. I look in the mirror and I still feel like I'm seeing an older guy, not quite this young pup that I was. But anyways, I thank God every day for being able to breathe the air and share time with my family. And you, thank you. Good luck and good selling. Bye-bye.